going to give you a quick demo of our CTN Network website, ctnnetwork.net. Join our community. It is free. You just type in ctnnetwork.net, and this is the homepage right here. And if you want to create an account, you would just click up here and create new account right here. Sign up with your email, or you can sign up with just clicking on Facebook or Google. So you can sign up with your Facebook account or your Gmail. So I'm already signed up, so I'm going to click in Gmail right here, and it's going to log me in. And as you can see, this is our homepage. Click on creators right here, and this shows you all the CTN family members that are content creators. Everybody is on here. If you want to go to one of their YouTube channels, for example, if you want to go to Crypto Talk Now, just click on channel, and it takes you right over to the YouTube channel for that particular creator. And you click on community. This is our community right here. We do have a forum, and this is a forum where you can post things, you can interact with one another. And there's also a blog right over here that we post our own content on. And if you click on CTN Studios, you can watch our live show and other content creators' live shows right through this CTN Studios. We do have advertisements for some of the content creators. There's the Crypto Smith, there's Waddy, the Crypto Hunter, and we also have live charts for the ISOs right in this box right here. We have a feature where you click on the heart if you want to donate to us. You can donate with Ethereum or Binance, BNB. And also, if you click on this button right here, we're going to have a call-in feature, which is already live. If you want to call us, just click on the green icon, the green phone icon, and click on Call Now. And during the show, between 9:15 and 10, when we announce it, when Max is on or when I'm on with Max, we will start accepting phone calls, and you guys can be live with the show. If you want to turn your video on, you can come on camera as well. So good stuff there. Now, back onto the homepage, if you click on members, you can see all the people that are members here. All these people here, like Chaka just signed up, Gills33, Miguel, all these people here are members of our community. So you guys can sign up, and then you can chat with one another. So you can either click over here, message right here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to welcome him. I'll send him a quick message, and then I can click enter or just a little arrow. If you want to message somebody else, you can click on message, or you can go right over here into members chat and go ahead and message them and create a new chat if you want by clicking this little button right here. Now, also, if you scroll down here, you can see some of the past videos that our content creators in our content creator family have created. You can go in here and watch some of the recorded videos. They're scrolling down here. Just choose one to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this brief demo. Make sure you sign up so you can interact and be part of the community when we are not on the live show.
Singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I'm singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I know now what you're all about. I've had the time to run out. I pray for the touch of your hand. Your love is so, so grand. Oh, baby.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here with you guys tonight for some crypto talk now. Been away for about 3 days, Enjoyed having my birthday off and then also taking some time off for the weekend. So without further ado, we're going to kick it into the audience and welcome some of you guys. We have quite the lineup here tonight. So it's going to be a great show. Glad to have you guys here with us on this wonderful Monday evening on May 15th. My goodness. All right. So smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's start things off with Mr. Dingy, who said at 12:59 my time that he was ready. Well, I'm glad it saved your comment, man. So awesome. I'm ready too. Glad to have you here, Mr. Dingy. Brittany's in the house. Welcome. Happy Monday to you as well, Ms. Brittany. OG Crypto in the house. Glad to have you back, sir, as well. And also want to welcome the one and only Mr. Boomer F. Sooner. Boom. Right at your TV screen. All right. OG says, doing great, Boomer. Pre-send is coming out soon. Glad that he bought in. Interesting. They usually try to start at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But sometimes there's a, like a 15-minute delay. But not this time, which is cool. I got you all crazy in the head with quant, so you bought some. Well, that's cool. Right on. Not financial advice, but gotta do what you gotta do. Super cool, man. You can't agree with the fees on buying and I don't know what that is. Okay, that's right. All right. Binance. Huh. All right, let's welcome Mr. or it could be a Miss Ferris. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Consider changing your avatar. Maybe change to Ferris Bueller. I don't know. But welcome. And guys, I haven't seen Ferris here before. Maybe you're here when Larry was here over the weekend. But glad to have you here. And yeah, let's welcome Ferris. Any questions you have or comments? We have a very welcoming community. All right. I also want to welcome CPR. Must have been somebody changed their membership name or something. But hello to you. That might be somebody else. Let me think of somebody with a C. That's going to bug me now. All right. Diamonds and Rubies, welcome. Glad to have you here. I think I skipped Tim Shea for some reason. Thank you for being here, Mr. Tim Shea, Mayor of Crypto Commissioner, representing the 589th District of the XRP Army. Yes, you know how it goes. All right. Coochie Boy's in the house. Hey, CTN fam. Glad to have you here, Mr. Coochie Boy. Brian Dowie's in the house. Up to Brian Dowie. All right. Mr. Elon Muff says, yo, glad to have you here, Mr. Muff. What up, folks? And some funny comments. Anyway, Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Welcome to the cat. Mr. Watch Dude, happy belated birthday, Max. Hey, CTN fam. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I didn't do nothing too exciting. It was just, Larry's always telling me that I should date myself. He was like, in order to date other, he's telling me this in the past, in order to date women and have them respect you, not that they don't, you need to first date yourself. And I was like, okay. Well, whatever that, he's going with that. So yeah, I decided to date myself on Friday and I got myself just, some Chinese takeout. No big deal. All right. It's going to welcome a few more of you guys. Nelly there is in the house. Glad to have you here. Saying hello to everybody. Michael Montclair is here in the house. Cars and Crypto. Glad to have you guys here. Just kind of going through some of the comments. Mr. GF Burke says, yo, he's been trying to pull a yoke off a Dana 30 for an hour and it's break time now. That's interesting stuff. But welcome, Mr. GF Burke. Not to be confused with Stephen Forberg, like I did in the past. All right. April Cornwell, welcome. Looks like you got a new avatar. Nice looking avatar. I like the look. New hairdo, new style. Looks pretty good, April. She says, hey. Definitely date yourself first. You got to love yourself so you can love others. Yes, I do love myself. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just something that, Larry was mentioning. So, yeah, I would agree with that. Good point. Thank you, Ms. April. All right. With myself? No. No, that's not how that works. All right. Sorry about your sons. Yeah, me too. For the record, I hope they get rid of DeAndre Ayton. Like, he's been a big letdown. Tom Chambers called him out. He's a wuss. He's, I agree with, what was it? Boomer F and Sooner was saying that KD is soft. You know who's soft? Is DeAndre Ayton. He's soft. For crying out loud, man. Put some hustle. Do some hard work, man. Unbelievable. And then now, I actually would say Monty, Monty was like one of my favorite coaches that the Suns ever had, Monty Williams. And he got fired. And you could pretty much thank DeAndre Ayton for that happening. So it is what it is. All right. I want to welcome also John Francis, Mike Husing. You give him a compliment to Mike Cornwell. Yeah. Yeah, give him Mike Cornwell. Yes, a compliment on his singing. Or more like his rapping from yesterday. I saw that. That was pretty cool. To Michael Montclair. I'm sorry. Oh, I know you do, Max. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Ferris says, thanks for explaining to me earlier the value of the quant token and the connections. Oh, you know what? Now I know who you are. Cool. Very cool. Glad to have you come from, that comment I made on the last quant video and then come over to the live. That means a lot, man. So, guys, let's welcome Ferris. Ayton is stealing money. The Joker made him look silly. He did look silly. He didn't even put any effort. Say one thing about Dennis Rodman. He didn't give a crap if he got banged up. I think that's what made him so great. I mean, yeah, he's called the Worm, but man, that guy was not afraid to jump in and get some rebounds. Ayton is, you can't play an elimination game. I have a rib contusion. Really? I guess, being born and raised in the Bahamas, no offense to people who are born and raised in the Bahamas, all that beautiful weather, living in paradise, just didn't make him exactly, I don't know. Say what you want. People like Jimmy Butler, you know what I mean? Like how he had to grow up and so on. Man, you play some hard, tough street ball with some of the hard, tough, rough kids in the neighborhood. You got to toughen up a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're constantly raised in a tropical environment where you're playing against a bunch of softies all the time, well, teaches on it. Yeah, I'm pretty bitter. Anyway, I'm over it now. On to the next season. All right. XXI Gaming says, what's good to everybody? Glad to have you here, Mr. XXI. I give you a shout out in one of the last deep dive Jasmine videos. I was mentioned just briefly about Stratos. Ayton and CP3 both gone next year. Probably. We have a very different owner this time, so we'll see what goes on with that. Mrs. April Cornwell is saying, hey, y'all. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. Hey, Brittany. Cool. Dan Armin, who won't confirm if that is I don't know what the heck that is. Like some kind of I don't know what you call it, like a blow-up doll, like a fat, what do they call them? What's that thing called again? A fat head? You put it on you put it on a door. I forgot what that's called. It used to be a popular thing called a fat head. All right, looks like Larry's here. He'll be taking over. Here we go.
Surprise, I'm not taking over. I just came to say hi and surprise you and just check out my internet. I don't want to interrupt the flow of the show. Well, come back on. All right, there you are.
All right. I had to do it classic where you're on the left and I'm on the right.
Yeah.
So with that said, welcome back to the Max and Larry show. It hasn't aired in a long time.
So grateful that you guys have joined us here. I guess it should just start out the way we normally start out. But yeah, I also have a Dogecoin too. I don't know if you saw that on the show the other day. I had this for a long time. I just never aired it.
Well, I don't know what you fixed, but you definitely fixed something because you're like not lagging.
I actually came on here, and I'm trying not to interrupt the show, but I actually came on here because I was prepared to call StreamYard. I was prepared to call Spectrum. I was hoping that it wasn't working. I didn't do anything to fix it. I didn't unplug my modem even. So I don't know why all of a sudden it's working, because I was ready to call. I was just going to come on for 5 minutes and I'll have more evidence, because they keep saying call in when it's evidence. More evidence that the internet's not working. Because
what are we, the SEC?
They won't take my word for it. They're like, sir, we don't see any problems. We don't detect any internet issues. And I said, well, and they said, just call in during your show when you're having problems. So I was surprised about that. So last night I did that, and I was having a lot of Domo Morigato, Mr. Roboto moment,
No, you're fine, right? I hope it could stay this way all the time, man. Well, good to have you.
So maybe
without the leg.
So
I said I was going to date myself, and then all of a sudden everything's fine.
I want to say that's actually a good thing to do because then you know what you're
did.
with good
I
company.
did. I
Yeah.
dated myself, but all it was picking up Chinese food, man. A takeout. I mean, what all can I really do?
I'll tell you something, Max. I wanted to just thank you for everything you've been doing. You are truly the Jasmine King, and I gave you that nickname. I'm proud of it. Um, but I saw a comment. It was either yesterday or today that someone said that we're the top source, which means you for Jasmine. So that was pretty cool. I see a lot of good comments. A lot of people enjoying the Jasmine content.
I don't try to let that stuff go to my head, but I do appreciate the feedback. It is nice, and I am trying. And I do personally believe in Jasmine, and the way I look at Jasmine is it's one of the most appealing risk to reward ratio ones out there. It is a little volatile. There is more risk, but I think with some of that risk comes more reward, and there's true innovation there. So and knowing that it's a really nice community, like everything that everybody ever dreams about, from like a meme coin and following a fearless leader. I hate to use Saitama like with Rust, but in reality, it's like none of that stuff had utility. You know what I mean? Jasmine, on the other hand, it's like you get the meme kind of prices, not where it's like 5 zeros or anything like that, but you get a little hint of that. You know what I mean? And at the same time, it's like we have some solid utility and in a really great community. You know what I mean? Because some meme coin communities, let's be honest, they do have a great community, So to me, it's like Jasmine has a lot of that, and you see some of the passionate people, like that one guy, what's his name, Yanislav. He put in that thing a whole outline, right? Like literally, almost like APA format type essay, like a paper, and then he sent that to Binance for them to reconsider taking Jasmine out of the innovation zone and actually putting it out of that and so on. And it was just like, you don't really see a lot of that stuff, like that drive. You see people pissed off, and rightfully so, but they just complain. They don't do anything. This guy actually took the time. If I had to guess how much time he put in that, he probably put a couple hours writing the whole outline of all the great innovation that Jasmine's doing and the research he's done. So I give him a shout out on the last video.
It's great. It's good to be part of a community. It's you definitely found your niche. I got to tell you one more thing that you're going to find interesting, but it's way off topic. It has nothing to do with Jasmine, but it does have something to do with a content creator. You're never going to believe this. My son sent it to me. There's a content creator that you and I both know. I actually interviewed him on the show before I met you a long time ago. It was recorded.
What the hell? You meant Crypto Hulk?
No, not Crypto Hulk.
I was gonna say, like, did you shave his back? Like, did you like just absolutely just squirt a bunch of like nair all over his back? And you're like, you know what, Crypto Hulk, you're gonna be coming on the show in future. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
So it's not Crypto Hulk, but this guy is a really nice guy. I talked to him a lot off camera. He's a really nice guy, and I know he got caught up with some things that people are not happy with him in the crypto world. So it's actually Hanuk Crypto. You remember Hanuk?
Yeah.
Okay. So on TikTok, you're never going to believe this. He's blown up on TikTok like more than we could ever dream about. So on one of his videos that my son Patrick sent me, he got over 26 million views on it. 26 million.
Holy crap.
Can you believe that? Yeah, he's gotten a few videos that have like one video had like a couple million. I think another one had 12 or 13 million. He's got like tons of followers on there. He's got like over 200,000 followers on TikTok. And I'm just like blown away by it. And it's funny thing is that the questions don't have anything to do with crypto. He goes around interviewing people at like college campuses, and he was asking them, what do you have on your lock screen? It was just totally off topic, but he's blown up and he's able to advertise his, crypto website and stuff like that, his link tree through that. So it's just, we're going to have to take some notes from him and see if we can go viral like he did. I was really, really shocked about it. And,
maybe you went viral as far as the whole TikTok thing, but if you go to his YouTube, he has like 100. I think he has like 100,000 subscribers. There's hardly any views on his videos, which
I haven't been to his YouTube.
Really
That's
fishy.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I would have to say that, but I don't know if he could pay for views with the TikTok situation. I don't think so.
Well, I'm not saying pay for views. I'm saying like he probably pay for subscribers, because that just doesn't.
Pay for subscribers. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't add up. So, I don't think he's a bad person. I'm just saying like there's something kind of fishy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, I thought you would find that cool. There's 48 beautiful people here. If you guys would hit the like button, I'm going to step aside. I'm going to let Max do the show, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm glad the internet's working. Now watch tomorrow. I guess I shouldn't test it tomorrow, but they're coming here tomorrow. So I'm going to step aside. 51 people here now. So the show is in your hands, Max. You got 50 people here. So enjoy the show, and I'll talk to you later or tomorrow.
All right. Well, sounds good, man. Thanks for dropping by. And remember, Nair is on your side. And if you ever need help with Nair, Mr. Crypto Hulk can help you.
So are you unhappy? Are people unhappy with Crypto Hulk right now, or is it just like a joke?
Look, here's the thing, right? He bashes all communities, everybody, right? Like he rides solo. But I give him credit on this. He does it better than anybody when it comes to like finding research. Like for instance, like I can have a typical brochure or something like that, or anybody, right? And just on the surface, like, but we all read it. He'll pull something out of that nobody ever saw. That takes talent, right? So I give him credit as far as that, like getting that type of news out there. But as far as like embracing communities and stuff like that, he does not do that. Like he just bashes all communities, something fierce. It's ridiculous. I don't know why he wants to do that, but
not our community though, right?
He would bash our community, he'd bash any community.
But he hasn't bashed ours though, right?
I'm pretty sure at some point, if he sees Mike Cornwell, aka Elon Musk's video of a gorilla, or like somebody like freaking Ace Ventura or whatever his name is, Jim Carrey, like spraying a bunch of like lotion or Vaseline all over somebody's back, you know what I mean? Or taking some Barbasol and just like shaving somebody's back, and that gets back to him. I'm sure he would bash us, but I think he would bash us anyway. Like he bashes everybody.
I think he seems like a nice guy to me. He seems very knowledgeable.
You think he's a nice guy? Go watch one of his live shows sometimes. Right at the beginning. Go watch one of his live shows and then find out if you think he's a nice guy.
Well, I haven't seen enough of his video to I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but I guess I haven't
every
seen
live show. Just go watch any, like, I'll put it this way, close your eyes, go watch his live show in the morning, and then come back to me and let me know how you feel. And if you still feel the same, then I'll buy you a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Blizzard from Dairy Queen or something. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, don't they have them at Sonic?
They do. They don't taste as good. I'm not a big fan of Sonic's milkshakes. That's just me.
I haven't had one at Dairy Queen. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, I'll get out of your way. Enjoy the show. Everyone enjoy the show. Hit the like button for Max, please. And thank you for saying hello, everybody. Crypto Fake News Channel 4. Okay. Yeah, I think what? That's that guy. Okay. I see his avatar. That's that guy. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're well. And somebody else said hello to me too. And Max was Stump Rider. So thank you all for being here. If I didn't mention your name, GT, Larry, you're dating a Russian gal. Check your nice gal. No, I'm actually not dating. Technically, I'm dating a Ukrainian woman. Beautiful, nice woman. I saw her earlier today. She speaks Russian, but she's actually Ukrainian. But yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your show, and I'll see you guys soon.
Take care, Larry.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so let's get back into a few more comments, and then we'll kick it into what we have on our show. I want to welcome Dan Armin. Mike says blessings to your dad. Thank you. Appreciate that. And let's see here. Armin says, I got to find out the right way to pronounce that. You were just watching highlights from an old Bulls game from the 90s, the good old days. I would agree with that. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. You're very welcome. All right. I also want to welcome GT. He wanted DA gone after we blew the finals up 2 years ago. Yep. So you're a Suns fan. Welcome, GT. Thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and highlight that as a reference. Let's kick it into, some of the news lineup that we have tonight because you know what? Why not? All right. So believe it or not, we're going to start things off with something that is not too popular, let's face it, around here. But what is one of the consistent things that we complain about when it comes to Ethereum? It's definitely the gas fees, right? So I saw this over the weekend, and I thought I would share it with our community. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. This is in regards to Ethereum. It's a recent interview in regards to Mr. Vitalik Buterin. hear about what he has to share here, right? And if anything, draw your own conclusion. You know, at the end of the day, it's not financial advice, but he does address some of the problems and issues with Ethereum. So let's go ahead and share this. Here we go.
Ethereum done, if we really have to call it done? Well, end of 2023, right? So merge done, withdrawals done. So being able to withdraw from the proof of stake system. Basic scaling done. A lot of basic improvements done, enough cryptography added to Ethereum that we can support privacy solutions as a layer on top. And, if we need to, we can stop there. But we're not going to stop there, right? And we want to kind of like go ahead and try to actually make sure that the Ethereum ecosystem can support 500 million users before, the bull where 500 million users are knocking on the door actually, ends up happening.
That's
right?
great.
So that's that's probably the next part of the future. The transition from Ethereum as this kind of very theoretical ecosystem that's still discovering and finding itself to Ethereum as an ecosystem that actually is tries to be useful and usable and secure and all of those things and like actually provide value for hundreds of millions of people.
Ethereum is going to explode over the next 18 months for three main reasons. Firstly, following EIP 1559, which introduced the burning mechanism to Ethereum, which then later combined with the merge, the Ethereum supply has gone deflationary. On the website ultrasound.money, you can see that even in a bear market, the burning of Ethereum far outpaces the new issuance of Ether, leading to a deflationary asset. Ethereum is coming up to net negative 200,000 Ether since the merge, thanks to things like investors trading meme coins such as Pepe. And keep in mind, this is during a bear market. Imagine what will happen to the supply of Ethereum during a bull market with the amount of Ethereum that is getting burned. Secondly, in just under 1 year's time, we have the Bitcoin halving. Although not directly related to Ether, the Bitcoin halving always has resounding effects on the entire crypto market, and it's a narrative that will inevitably bring capital flows to Ethereum as well. Thirdly, in Vitalik's most recent interview, he believes by the end of 2023, Ethereum is going to be essentially finished with rollups and layer 2s and will be much more user-friendly in terms of gas fees and usability. He claims that he wants to be ready for Ethereum to have 500 million users before it has 500 million users. Ethereum currently has around 4 million active users, meaning he is expecting over a 100-fold increase in adoption. Just imagine what this would do for price. Before we delve into Vitalik's latest interview, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind.
On is that 2023 is going to be the year when rollups really come to maturity. We have 4844 that gives rollups more space. And we have the trading wheels on rollups like really get weakened a lot, and like basically we go most of the way to these Ethereum scaling being this kind of fully trustless, and so not fully trustless, but most of the way to being fully trustless. So mostly trustless system that kind of gets us to like most of what we would call sharding being finished, and then after that there's rollups going fully trustless, and then there's full tank sharding. And I think those things are going to take a couple of years longer. But like for me personally, I think after the changes in next year, like that would be the first points where I would feel comfortable saying, even if nothing else happens past that point, I would be happy with Ethereum, right? And that to me is like that's the personal milestone for me, right? Like the equivalent of like when can we call Ethereum done if we really have to call it done? Well, end of 2023, right? So merge done, withdrawals done. So being able to withdraw from the proof of stake system. Basic scaling done. A lot of basic improvements done. Enough cryptography added to Ethereum that we can support privacy solutions as a layer on top. And if we need to, we can stop there. But we're not going to stop there, right? And we want to kind of like go ahead and try to actually make sure that the Ethereum ecosystem can support 500 million users before the bull where 500 million users are knocking on the door actually ends up happening.
That's
right?
great.
So that's that's probably the next part of the future. The transition from Ethereum as this kind of very theoretical ecosystem that's still discovering and finding itself to Ethereum as an ecosystem that actually is, tries to be useful and usable and secure and all of those things, and like actually provide value for hundreds of millions of people. Made around 2020. This is, I think, another one of these trivia that is well known within Ethereum circles, but probably hasn't really kind of filtered out to the wider narrative memeplex, is the rollup centric roadmap. Right, this is basically this idea that instead of Ethereum itself trying to kind of boil the ocean with scaling and turn itself into this complicated hyperscalable system, we would make some changes to Ethereum that would make it be more friendly to people making layer 2 scaling solutions, right? So layer 2 scaling solutions are like protocols that try to do the same thing that Ethereum does, but that plug into Ethereum for security without doing every single thing on top of Ethereum, right? So most of the work would happen off-chain, but just enough work would or could be done on-chain that if something happens, the Ethereum system would kind of keep the rest of the system honest, right? So one of the defining analogies for layer 2s in general is like the concept
Supreme
of a court,
Yep.
right? Like the concept of exactly, the Supreme Court is what things kind of ultimately rest on, but you don't literally have the Supreme Court hearing every single case, right? You have a whole bunch of these appeals courts and like a whole bunch of lower courts, and then you just have the facts that the threat of a court case being possible can drive honest behavior without most of that behavior ever needing to get into a court system, right? That kind of analogy like drives the Lightning Network, which is basically the only kind of layer 2 that's possible on Bitcoin. And it also drives state channels, which are like the Lightning Network equivalent on Ethereum, as well as rollups, which are this more complicated thing that was only discovered later on Ethereum, that are actually powerful enough that you could do smart contracts on top of them, right? So Lightning Network and state channels support transactions, and they support very limited kinds of contracting. The rollups, they support like kind of full-on EVMs that kind of get indirectly verified inside the EVM. So layer 2s have kind of been the Ethereum scaling direction since then. And since then, there have been these discussions around data availability, right? Basically, the practical capacity limit to a layer 2 is how much data the Ethereum chain itself can store, right? Because one of the trade-offs of rollups is that they do require the Ethereum chain to store a few bytes of data for every single transaction, like a lot less than using Ethereum directly, but still some amount of data. And that's where stuff like data availability sampling and EIP 4844, which is looking scheduled to come, early to mid,
Proto-dink sharding.
maybe later next year is all about. Exactly. So proto-dink sharding is like a bit of a pun, right? Because so first there's sharding, and then there is dank sharding, which is this version of sharding, which was created by an Ethereum researcher named Dankrad. And then there is proto-dank sharding, which is called that because it's a stepping stone to full dank sharding. It doesn't technically shard data yet, though it does shard history and computation. But it was also created by another Ethereum researcher. His name was Proto-Lambda, right? So proto-dank sharding happening next year. And the other thing that, I've talked to the rollup teams and they all want to do next year is they want to start taking off training wheels, right? So the rollups and layer 2s that exist on Ethereum today, they basically all have what I call training wheels, like some kind of backdoor that lets developers come in and like say stop and change the protocol if they see that some kind of bug has happened. And like training wheels are obviously an affront to the moral idea of trustlessness and all of those things, and nobody wants training wheels to be the status quo long term. But basically, they're like a compromise saying, okay, people we want to hit the ground running, and we want applications to be able to start deploying on layer 2s before we can be fully confident that the thing has no bugs. And so we're going to have a backdoor for a while, and then once things are stabilized and once we're confident enough in the code, then we can finally start taking the backdoors out, right? And so next year, some of the projects are going to actually, I think, might be actually taking their backdoors out. Some of them are going to be kind of limiting their backdoors and going to a hybrid, right? Where a backdoor exists, but there's like, it's not like one person that manages it, and it's not even a multi-sig with a 51% threshold. It's like a multi-sig with an 80% threshold or a 75% threshold with members that are like highly distributed between a bunch of different organizations. And so it's like a halfway house between being a kind of trusted sidechain in the style of something like Liquid, or in the style of something like Polygon today, versus being a fully decentralized system, right? Where it's like, the humans have half the votes and the code has half the votes. That's probably one sort of mathematically accurate way to think about it. And so if
like
you
the Senate and the House,
if you want to
but it's,
override the code,
right.
Exactly. Like if if even a majority of the humans are dishonest, as long unless you have like almost all the humans are dishonest, like if it's just a majority, then the code still kind of carries the day, right? But so the idea would be that if there is some political controversy, that then you're not going to you could see yourself getting 51% of the humans, but you're not going to get like 80% of the humans. Whereas if it's a bug, then like that's something where it's easy to get like a 100% even agreement that the bug needs to be fixed. Not total take the training wheels off and leave it to the code, but like a very large step toward that.
All right. That was a little bit extended. I get that. But the point was what he mentioned in some of this, right? So, let's face it. I mean, some of you guys, during a crypto winter and so on, you have purchased either a half an ETH or a full ETH. Maybe you got more of that and so on. For me, I feel as though there's still other opportunities. But in light of what recently was reported, like what you saw with that, Vitalik Buterin interview, it makes you think like, wow, are they finally going to get something here possibly by the end of the year that will be the answer to some of these high gas fees? And if so, I think that we should all pay attention to that, because you know what? At some point, let's face it, meme coins, as we know, might go away. The days of the Wild West will go away. But if it doesn't go away, then wouldn't that incite a lot more people to, let's face it, continue to, send out some of these contracts, or, still build, right? ERC20 token meme coin projects and so on. If you take out of the equation the high gas fees, well, you can do the math yourself. It should be pretty big for Ethereum at the end of the day. Is there opportunity there? I think there's still opportunity there. I'm a fan of Ethereum? Of course not. I'm not a fan of Ethereum, but I'm a fan of what? Opportunity. So I thought I would share that with you guys. Not often that we talk about Ethereum, but I saw that over the weekend. Thought I would share it with you. Anyway, we're going to get back into a few more comments, see if there's any questions or anything like that. Thank you guys for being here. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're sitting at roughly, I think, about 40 likes. It'd be kind of nice to see it match what we have here as far as attendance, but nonetheless, don't smash the like if you're driving down the road or you're listening to the program. I understand how that goes. So very grateful for everybody that's here tonight. And we still have quite the lineup that we're going to get into. So let's just jump right into some of these things. All right. So the last comment came from GT. And we do thank you, GT, for being here. Consider changing your avatar. Something speaks more about who you are and what you're all about. On top of that, let's see here. That's your face with a filter. That's funny, Dan. Right on. All right. Onion head. Interesting. All right. Mr. Burke says, oh, yeah, I'm back in my Pepe. All right. Cool stuff. So let me check what's going on with the Pepe. Is it pumping again? Is that what's going on? Up about 5%. Interesting. Did you guys ever check out Saudi Pepe? The other day that was up like 2,000%. And I was looking at the chart, it looked like a normal chart. It didn't have that thing where we had straight horizontal lines and then straight verticals where, you could tell that the dev is just, doing manipulation and stuff like that. It looked natural. So that was trending yesterday. It's not trending today. All right. Well, then welcome back, Mr. Ahmed. Glad to have you here. Also want to welcome you back, Mr. Irv. Thank you for being here, W. Irv. All right. Don't forget Jasmine. Hello back to you, Mr. Ackman. All right. John Francis says, Ackman, when is XLM going parabolic, man? Well, that's a question towards him. If it was a question towards me, I could give you an answer on that, but that's all right. I picked up more Jasmine last night along with more XRP. Well, Diamond Hands Japan, I saw you in the comments on the recorded. So glad to have you here on the live. Always puts a smile on my face to see people appreciate the content from the recorded videos. Jump to the live. It means that you want to, share how you feel about certain things, where's Jasmine, so on. So, guys, let's welcome Diamond Hands Japan. You stated, if I remember right, that you spent about roughly 30 years, I think it was, in Japan. So you definitely have an idea of, what's going on over there and so on. So love to hear more of your insights, sir. Thank you again for being here. All right. Here's a question from Boomer. So what's up with HBAR? Anyone still hot for it? I'm still hot for it. Ironically, I guess Crypto Bellwether, I know, just hear me out. He posted a video today about HBAR. I thought I'd look more into it and so on. It was interesting, but there is something going on with HBAR, and I am still hot for it. And in his video, he breaks down some like the new updated tokenomics. So a few months back, as we know, we got some bad news that some people were like kind of down in the dumps in regards to HBAR because of, I guess you could say, adding more towards the supply. So there's some new things going on. We have a brief HBAR segment coming up. But yeah, I'm still hot for it. I still rank it about maybe number 6 after Jasmine. And then after that, I would probably go with LCX, probably my number 7 and so on. So yeah, it's still definitely in my top 10 for sure. I will have to let Larry know about that. That's a good point. That could be very well what's going on with him. As far as my birthday weekend, it was all right. I mean, I'm not complaining or anything like that. It was just, I don't know. It was a lot of time. It was a time to reflect, I guess you could say, on everything. You know what I mean? I don't really complain about stuff. I'm a very private person for the most part. So, anyway. Nobody wants to hear. Everybody has problems, you know what I mean? All right. W. says, kind of sus, cool cat. Just kidding. All right. Crypto Fake News Channel 4. I think that's that guy. He says, yo. Well, yo back to you. Like, yo, MTV reps. John, can you pay for views on TikTok? I don't know. I just, my thing is this. I mean, I think Henok is a good guy overall. I think he's a good, nice person. But I mean, if you have 100,000 subscribers and you have like your views or like or your comments, like he's not even getting not even 200 or 300 views, but you have 100,000, subscribers. Like you can add that up yourself. You know what I mean? So I just think it's kind of fishy. Anyway. All right. You're going to get him some Ludens and cough drops. All right. I honestly have nothing against him. I think a lot of people recognize that, he does kind of go after content creators other than himself. And that's just not cool personally, but whatever. Ronnie Kersey says, hey, what's up? How is it everyone doing? So is anyone worried about second half of the year? Are people being too bullish? I don't think people are being too bullish. I think more people need to be informed about what's really going on and so on. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen to affect the market. I get that, but I'm not being necessarily too bullish. I'm trying to look at it from both sides. But as far as do I think it's as bad as last year? Well, of course not. But there's gonna be people that say that we're still in the bear market. There's gonna be people saying that we're in the bull. I'm one of those people that says, hey, I think it's we're still in the beginning of that. So I'll read a couple more comments. I'm gonna kick it back into our lineup because if I don't, it's gonna be a really long show, and I'm trying to have a balance. All right, WR says he's got 10 quant on max that he could take Crypto Hulk. I don't know about that, man. He's a pretty big dude, and I probably wouldn't even try to fight somebody like I'm not. My days of like I will defend myself, but I don't go looking for fights. I almost lost, little known fact, I almost lost my life having that type of attitude. You know, when I was like about 18, 19 years old. It was right out getting out of a pool hall, and my friend with me, who turned out he's not, he used to be my best friend, but you find out who your real friends are real quick. Always claimed he had my back and all that stuff. He didn't have my back for squat. He was the biggest coward who ever lived, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, he was like telling me like these guys were trying to start this crap with us and so on. So, you know, this is back in my young punk days. I had to say that. You know, you learn a lot. This is back in like, I'd probably say like the year 2000, something like that. Anyway, maybe 2001. I can't remember. Anyway, for whatever reason, we decided to go, you know, after the pool hall was, shooting pool at this place called Strictly Billiards. For whatever reason, we decided to go after these guys, which is stupid. And long story short, end up having a fight out in the middle of traffic late at night. And, you know, my friend tells me like, you know, take your cup and throw it at this guy. So like an idiot, I did that, you know, because I was kind of a punk back then, to be honest. Not super punk, but, you know, sometimes like I could be a punk. So I threw it. Obviously, the guy gets pissed off, gets out of his truck, and decides to, you know, come at me and so on. And I'm like, okay, bring it. And as a result, we're fighting out there. And then my friend is screaming bloody murder, like somebody's been killed. And at the end of the day, the reason why he's screaming bloody murder is because this guy took out a dagger out of his sheath, and he is trying to kill me. And he's just swinging it back and forth. I didn't have a pistol or anything on me. That's beside the point. But anyway, I kept backing up, and he kept like, I mean, my whole shirt got shredded. But, you know, long story short, I almost got stabbed to death. And finally, you know, this guy was, you know, like he stopped because somebody else came from the other side of the street. And this has nothing to do with crypto, I know. Anyway, came from the other side of the street and basically yelled at this guy. I forgot what the guy's name was. I don't know if it was Tim or Tom, something like that, something with a T. Like, it's been many years ago. I try to block out a lot of this stuff. But anyway, he's yelling at him. Let's just say his name is Tom, because I don't want to associate with Tim Shea. All right. You know, Tom, what the hell are you doing? You're trying to get yourself killed? You're trying to go back to prison? And so the guy just stops. And then he looks at me, and I'm looking at him like, you know, are you done like trying to stab me to death? Because like I've been in many fights before, but not to the situation where I feel like I need to, you know, I guess you could say hand-to-hand combat with a knife. I mean, I've never been trained for that. You know what I mean? Like I've taken martial arts, but not to the point where I had a guy with a freaking dagger coming at me. Anyway, and this guy was huge. Like he was super tall, big, all that stuff. Anyway, so my thing was, you know, he stops and he looks at me. He goes, after this person's yelling at him from a truck on the other side of the street, you know, Tom, what the hell are you doing? And then he looks at me and looks at that guy, and he looks back at me. He goes, oh, man, I'm so sorry. He says, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, man. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then he sticks his arm out like he wants me to shake his hand. And I told him, I was like, look, man, you want me to shake your hand? You just almost try to kill me, you know? He goes, I'm really sorry, man. I hope you forgive me. I got to get the hell out of here. And I would suggest you do the same thing. So I'm looking all over for my friend. And you know where my friend is? I'll tell you where my friend is. In his 1998 Hyundai Tiburon, or red Tiburon, he's all the way down the street, right? Parked under a light that's off with his freaking, all his engine off, everything. And guess what happens after the guy leaves? Then he finally comes back. He tells me, he's just like, come on, man, get in the car. I'm thinking to myself, oh, finally, now you're going to come pick me up, and you're worried about my well-being now. So we drive down the street, we get to the end of the road, and basically speaking, you know, it's like a 7-Eleven there, right? This is in a somewhat busy part of Phoenix. Pulls in, and at the end of the day, he's just like, oh, I don't know about you, man, but my heart's racing. I'm thinking, your heart's racing? Oh, yeah. What about my heart? I'm the one that almost got freaking stabbed to death, but okay. So he's just like, I got to go in. I got to get something to drink. I'm like, whatever. He's like, you want something to drink? I'm like, no. I'm thinking, especially from your sorry, you know what. So I'm standing outside and I'm waiting for him and so on. And next thing I know, I hear all these sirens and so on. And I hear a police helicopter. And it's all buzzing all over my head with the spotlight on and so on. And I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding me. And then, so I just act calm and all that. Cops come, surround, and so on. And, they come up to me and they're just like, we got reports that you were, in some kind of street brawl in the middle of the road. And I was just like, yeah, I was, but, nothing major happened and so on. And so as a result, I had to think real quick right then and there. They're like, well, somebody's going to go to prison or jail for all this, just spewing off stupid stuff. And I thought to myself, do I really want to go to jail tonight over my friend's stupid, blankety blank? I'm thinking, no. So they're like, well, you need to tell me what happened. You need to tell me right now. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm all right, man. Think of something real quick. So I did. I said, all I know is this. We're driving down the road and these guys threw a pop at the car. Oh, yeah? Can you show us that? Sure. You want to know the truth what happened? The truth what happened was when I tried to throw that freaking thing, I hit the other guy's car, but I threw it in a way in which the cup, the freaking lid, where you put on the cup, it came out the wrong way because I threw it the wrong way, right? So it came out and it got me all wet in the side of my friend's car. That was probably the only thing that saved me from going to jail that night. Anyway, long story short, stupid thing I did and so on. But ever since that happened, I don't really look for fights anymore or anything like that because that was me back my stupid, dumb years. But I learned a lot from that. Bottom line is, don't go looking for a fight. But yeah, I will defend myself. But at the same time, I thought a lot about what my pastor told me years ago. You know what he told me? He basically told me that, like I was explaining to you guys on the show, like I think maybe last week, there's some crazy nut guy who came after him and so on, saying that, hey, you don't know how to drive and all this and all that. And he gets out of his car at a Fred Meyer in the parking lot and just cussing my pastor out and so on. And instead of my pastor getting mad at this guy and so on, he showed this guy kindness and basically told him, he's just like, you know what? You're right. I probably could have drove a little bit better. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to keep that in mind next time. I've been under a lot of stress, but you know what? I'm going to pray for you with whatever you're going through. The guy just looked at my pastor absolutely dumbfounded and didn't know how to answer that. At the end of the day, you want to know something? Kindness goes a lot farther than most people think. Maybe I should stop talking about this. But no, I'm not trying to go start a fight with Crypto Hulk or anybody out there and so on. But I will state this. I will defend myself. But the days of me trying to go in after people because I thought they looked at me the wrong way, it's a good way to get yourself killed. All right, enough about that conversation. Let's try to get back to some of the crypto stuff. Okay, so anyway, why did I share that with everybody? I have no idea. I think because somebody brought up the thing with, fighting Crypto Hulk, which makes no sense. Anyway, that guy could just tear me a new one. But anyway, all right, so let's see where we're at. We're going to kick it into the next part of our outline. And our outline, believe it or not, is it's going to be Jasmy, all right? And that's going to start things off with it. I think everything you see tagged has coverage tonight. All right. So did you know that when Mr. Hara was over at the Tokyo blockchain, I want to say blockchain expo, right? There was a booth, all right? And we know about that. And some people are saying, well, that was a pretty decent sized booth. But I bet, it was probably smaller than anything out there. No, it was not. So shout out to Crypto Puppet for sharing this on his Twitter. He actually sent me this DM. As you see right here, the 4th Blockchain Expo Tokyo. This just wrapped up, right? Last Friday. So, you have Globians. Shout out to you guys that hold some GBacks and so on. They had a big booth, Cardano, all these, right? There's ones that has small booths, right? So there was like Settlement, some of these other ones, Quantum ICT Forum, right? Jasmy is in the top right area. So I'm going to show this right here. So, I mean, in reality, I mean, like there's some other ones like Cointelegraph Japan, kind of small booth, Blockchain Hub. Jasmine had a reasonably sized, booth, and that was cool to see that. So I thought I would share that with you guys. Shout out to Crypto Puppet. I also want to share this with you. Here's some recent developments. All right, I'm gonna come back into the frame here in a bit. All right, so basically speaking, Hara did recognize, I believe, what Yanislav posted, and that was really cool of him to do that. So, he sent this thing in regards to Binance, remove Jasmine from the innovation zone for its true potential to thrive. I did sign this petition, and you want to know something? I also retweeted this to the community saying, you know what, let's try to get everybody to sign this petition. I already signed mine last night. But this guy Yanislav really started to get the ball rolling for this, and already, let's go ahead and click this real quick. We have quite a few signatures. You know what I mean? So if you're wondering where we're at 1,595 signatures. We're trying to get to 2,500 in regards to Binance removing Jasmine from the innovation zone for its true potential to thrive, as they would say. But for the record, for people who don't understand, they weren't delisted, right? It's just moved to the innovation zone and so on. We did get the reply back from the support. They'd have forwarded over to, for instance, some of the Binance bigwigs. Maybe it was CZ. You never know, but at least this thing is getting momentum, and that's a cool thing, right? All right, I want to show you guys just a little bit more what we have for the Jasmine lineup tonight. And so I'm going to get into that. All right, here we go. And, I included this in the last Jasmine video, but just in case you didn't see it, I want to report this to you guys. This comes straight from Hara. He states, thank you for coming to Japan for the Blockchain Expo. He had a session with Mr. Hazuzawa, director of BitTrade, Huobi, Japan, about the token market in Japan. Next up is Teams Web3 Summit. I'm going to show you guys a little bit in regards to that. But, you guys got to understand, sometimes the news that you want to have reported when it comes to Jasmine or anything, right? You can only expect so much. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get that news, but you might not get it in a timely manner. Now, is this a rightful complaint from the community that, the footage that was shared shouldn't have came from that, that young lady, and it should have came straight from her at the time? Well, possibly, right? I mean, we could have had both at the same time. That would have been great. Was it fuel for FUD? Yeah, it was fuel for FUD. But for everybody who was like, Har is not at the conference, that could be furthermore from the truth. So obviously here he is. He was definitely there. Like I said, there's his homeboy in the background, the guy that, was in Hong Kong with him. Okay. So he was definitely there. And one of the key things to recognize also here, we'll go to the next slide. There's a lot of people that were engaged with this presentation for Jasmine, probably asking questions and commenting and so on. But, you don't just see people walking by right here. There's a lot of focused, like a 10 hut, if you will. Like, let's pay attention to what's going on here. That's good. We also know that at this particular expo, was for, like an institutional exclusive, right? And that's another big thing. At the end of the day, I look at this as being something that, has a lot of potential. Again, shout out to that Yanislav guy. He did like a whole paper outline about this, and there's some people are still, requesting video. I think Dingy, I think this is your account, if I'm not mistaken. He says, can you make a webcam video interview? Don't even care if you talk in Japanese and it has subtitles. I think we're going to get there. We might not get video of this from this event, but, I think eventually that's going to happen. Does it happen on the next one? I hope to God it happens on the next one. But, to say that this guy doesn't exist, like some people have stated, I just don't think that's the case. I don't want people to understand that, yeah, I hear the complaints and so on, but at the end of the day, I mean, I don't work for the team. I mean, I would definitely pass that to the team. All right, a little bit more in regards to Jasmine before we kick it into some of our other coverage. I want to show you guys this. This is from the Teams Web3 Summit in Japan. It's coming up here soon, right? It's going to be on May 17th through the 18th at Toro Naman Hills, Tokyo, Japan. Literally because they're, with a time difference, they're about a day ahead of us. This is coming up here quick, right? 1 day and 15 hours, basically. This is hosted by Team Z Inc., and basically speaking, the event will be broadcast in English and Japanese with professional interpretation and separate audio equipment. The event will be broadcasted in English and Japanese with professional interpreters and individual audio devices. Now, with that said, all right, I might chop this up and do a video about it. So for people like Dingy and everybody else, there's nothing wrong with some of your requests. Those are great requests. I hope to God that it's not just, coverage from all the other entrepreneurs and blockchain projects and so on. We actually get the coverage that we're all been, wanting to have for Jasmine, and that, we finally see Hara being interviewed, and, we get some interpretation, or like you pointed out, Dingy, if you're here tonight still, that, hey, we would really like to just even see him talking Japanese and just get verification it's him. Rightfully so. I would be with you on that. I think that this will give us that. I mean, if they're going to go through all this, like it says, of, this event being broadcast in English and Japanese with professional interpretation and, separate audio equipment, why would you just skip Jasmine? That doesn't make any sense. So we'll see what happens and we'll go from there. But I point that out to you guys. Let's kick it in a little bit more to what we have. All right. So we know that Jasmine's going to be there. All right. So who are some of the key speakers that are there? Well, believe it or not, it is, like you see right here, Jasmine Corporation, Hiroshi Harada, aka Hara, CFO. He is part of the lineup, along with many other, people that are going to speak. Right, you got Connie Lamb from Certic, some other familiar faces, but obviously, focus for me at least is going to be Hara from Jasmine. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop this, and we're going to kick it back into the comments. The next segment will be Quant, and then after that, it's going to be some BSV. All right. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for everybody who's here tonight, and appreciate you guys. All right. I saw that the super chat came in on the other screen. Let's go ahead and kick it into that. All right. So I think it came from Henry Brown. Thank you again, Mr. Henry Brown, for the super chat and your ongoing support of CTN. And it's right here. He states, $5 super chat. Thank you, Henry. H-Bar and Original Hot Boys. Lil Wayne and DPG Max is Dog Pound Gangstas. Maximal Jasmine, so Latex Larry had fun at the past few days. Interesting. I thank you for the $5 super chat. I just want to state this for the record. I have never been a fan of Lil Wayne ever. Even back in his, I when I first heard of Lil Wayne is when he was back with Cash Money. I was just never a fan of Lil Wayne. I will admit this though. There's maybe 2 songs, if that I like from him, and that's about it. So, I think I like that one song that he's featured with Busta Rhymes. But of course, I love Busta Rhymes' verse on that song a lot better. You know what I'm talking about. But other than that, it wasn't my thing. I come from an era where, like Andre 3000, he's probably not going to like this. I do like the Outkast, but, so remember, I don't know if you're around for this. I don't know how old you are, but, Andre 3000, he accepts, I think back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken, maybe late 96, going to 97, best new artist award or whatever. And he was just like, the dirty South is here. You all need to be more open-minded is what he said. I was still the type of guy where I was just like, man, nothing beats East Coast, West Coast still. And that's just still me. You know what I mean? I will listen to Nas 24/7. I will still listen to some of my favorite West Coast rappers and so on. That's my thing. That's my style of hip hop. It's still 90s hip hop, but it is what it is. All right. Thank you for that super chat. I'm gonna double check the other screen, make sure I didn't forget anything. I don't think I did. I don't think there's any other ones, so that's okay. All right, we're gonna go back to a few more comments. There's probably a lot, probably like well behind, maybe an hour. I don't know. Good problems to say the least. All right. Let's see. You guys got any specific questions? Burke, it's like AOL now suggesting they offer a calendar and ISO app. Oh, in regards to ETH, that's a good way of looking at it. Gary Gensler, May Pepe, Dan Armin, I changed my profile pic so it's not so disturbing. Let's see what it looks like, man. Oh, cool. You know what? That's crazy. You kind of look like my childhood friend, not the one I was talking about in the example. This other guy, he actually became a rapper. You can look him up for yourself. His name is Braille. He goes by the name of Braille Brizzy. You look a lot like Mr. Braille Brizzy. Great rapper, great lyricist. He was on tour with the late, great James Brown a long time ago before James Brown passed away. Anyway, you look literally just like him. That's crazy. All right. Let me see what else we got. Looks like they're rapping. I want to welcome 405 Anthony. He exists clearly. Yes, he exists clearly. I just don't see what the deal is, but teach his own. Teach his own. Majasmi. Mentalex says, does NASDAQ custody services... I'm sorry if I skipped over a bunch of comments. Just a whole flood came in and just went away. So sorry about that. Might be a StreamYard issue. Does NASDAQ custody services starting in June for crypto signal? Insiders know SEC versus Ripple ends favorably for Ripple in June. We're going to get into a little bit of not so much of the case, Menelec, but I have some news in regards to Ripple's XRP. And we're going to get into that in a bit. It's a point of view that needs to be shared with everybody. It was reported from USA Today, and we're going to jump into that. I just want the outline to flow a little bit more better. Sup, Mang, you say? All right, we're going to jump back into what we have on our coverage. Don't want to be WrestleMania. It can't be WrestleMania because I have to be up early tomorrow morning and so on. So if you're hoping for WrestleMania, that ain't happening. All right, that is not happening. As a teacher, I've been informed by some other teachers, stop saying ain't. You know, I tell those other teachers, I say, I didn't major in English, but I'm teaching some of your students APA format. So, and then they just look at me like, oh yeah, that is true. All right, you can say ain't. And I just smile and everything's fine. So, anyway. All right, so let's go back to what we have. And I want to show you guys just a little bit more, some good stuff. I mean, you know, it's nice to see some of the positive things in regards to Jasmine. Nice to see actual photos of Mr. Hara. He's going to be at Teens Web3 Summit, like we reported earlier. All right, so let's jump into just a brief segment in regards to quant. So I want to state this real quick, right? When it comes to quant, as you know, Gilbert Verdi has mentioned, right? You got to keep in mind there's 3 IoTs, all right? So some people think like, Max, there's 3 IoTs. Like, you know, what are you talking about? Yeah, there's 3 IoTs. So basically speaking, in blockchain language, yes, there's 3 IoTs. With Jasmine, we know there's the Internet of Things, okay? With Quant, there's the Internet of Trust. And then when we get to the BSV segment, you'll find out what the 3rd IoT is, but you have to stick around for a bit before we get to that. All right, so let's jump to Quant, the Internet of Trust. All right. Shout out to the great Quant Papa. This was something that was brought up to my attention. Shout out to Stardog as well. Max, are you ever going to cover the whole thing about Quant and, for instance, the Bank of England? I said I would, but there's been a lot that's been going on, right? So just like with crypto, right? Try to keep up with supply and demand. But I will try to do more of a deeper dive into this whole thing with Bank of England. All right. So Tom Mutton, did you know he's the director of the central bank digital currency for the Bank of England? Now, look at this quote that he has here. And we'll play the videos under 2 minutes. He says, Gilbert Verdi and Quant are really important in this, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, if you have some of these big players, why not pay attention to some of this? So we're going to go ahead and play this. Listen to what is mentioned here. Smash that like. Here we go.
With the Bank for International Settlements, you have a London Centre project, Rosalind, and Project Meridian. Meridian was focused on housing, just recently been published. Rosalind should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's focused on central bank digital currency and I mean, Gilbert has been really important in this. He was a sort of an important participant with Quant providing input. With the Bank for International Settlements, you have a London centre. I mean, Gilbert has been really important in this. He was a sort of an important participant with Quant providing input.
The next level of thinking is, what does this mean to consumers? What does this mean to businesses? And what does this mean to the economy? And the common theme we're seeing with the work we're doing with central banks is the only way to answer those questions is to practically test it with your local domestic and commercial banks to understand what does this mean. So from our perspective, I mean, we're an infrastructure provider. We create the issuance of CBDCs and the interoperability of CBDCs with payment systems. And the common themes are around, why a digital pound, why a digital euro, why a digital dollar. And it's an evolution of money, and cash is always going to be there, as Tom was just saying, but having a digital form of cash, a new form of smart money, can really unlock a lot of benefits to consumers and businesses, because we're right now relying on a traditional architecture of push and pull payments, and having logic built in by having the ability to program money to do innovative things is going to really transform how GDP can grow, how businesses can reduce workflows, and how consumers can spend a new form of money. So we're at the beginning of that thinking, but the next step is to practically test it with your local domestic banks.
Yeah, your local domestic banks and so on. I wanted to get more into our outline that we have for Quant. It's just a short little segment and so on. I do apologize, Henry Brown. I did now see that you have a second super chat, so sorry about that. That was at 6:52. At least it was an hour ago, but let's go ahead and read this. So he says, and thank you again for the $5 super chat as well as the other one. So I take it no nines or red cars. OG Max, I think most of us had life or death situation. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. Ooh, it's always something. Yeah, my aunt, she lives right next to Inglewood in Norwalk. And I don't know, it gets kind of interesting there. I've been to Watts a few times. One was just passing through. That was back in, God, what was it, 2009? I was trying to go to Disneyland, and whatever reason, my GPS wasn't working on my BlackBerry, right? It was kind of, I know. It's like, why the heck I have a BlackBerry? I was still using a BlackBerry. And I came through, I think it was towards like the outskirts of downtown LA. And this guy, you want to talk about somebody trying to troll you? This guy totally trolled me, right? And he's just like, I was trying to, he spotted me a mile away, basically. So how should I say this? I told him, I was just like, look, I'm trying to find like what exit to take to go to like Malibu, basically, because my friend, he was taking med school at Pepperdine. I'm sure you're probably familiar with Pepperdine, and which is in Malibu. And I told him, I was just like, I have nowhere to go right now. My GPS on my phone's not working well, and I should have brought like an old school map. Like my dad was even gonna have me loan me a road atlas, right? So I didn't do that. And at the end of the day, this guy led me right through Watts. And there was like, at that time, this was like on a Friday evening. And there was like this, oh man, I mean, I was kind of grateful actually, right? So hear me out. So I always want to see like a bunch of like old school. I'm a huge Impala fan, right? Like that's, once the next bull run happens and so on, I want to get like a couple Impalas. I think I should show that to somebody or told you guys on that. So, yep, both sides of the road. I mean, we saw, or I should say but I saw like literally, I don't know, like six, anywhere from 1960. I want to say about 62 to about, I think I saw a few 65s. I'm not a big fan of the 65s, but I'm a huge fan of like 1959 through 64. Of the Impalas. But anyway, both sides, man, just Impala convertibles, all lowrider style, but like really decked out with the Daytons and the hydros and the switches and all that. It was pretty cool, but at the same time, it was just like you really kind of felt out of place real quick, because you knew that, yeah, you know what? That guy, he totally led you down the wrong area. I saw like literally 12 West Side Pyrus throwing up like, gang signs, for Bloods and so on. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I have been trolled to the highest degree here. But no, I'm not an OG. I've never been an OG, but thank you for the compliment. I just was on the wrong side of town, but I was glad to see some of the Impalas and so on, but I didn't stick around, especially with all those, like, you could really tell, I'm like, oh crap, this one's from like real OG Pyrus right there. I need to get the heck out of here. So anyway, I finally made it to Malibu, but it was like, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I told my friend that, I was just like, man, I don't know what happened with your directions, but I got lost and this other guy like trolled me. Anyway, Menelec says, don't go looking for a fight, look for utility coins. Well, yes, don't go do that. Don't look for a fight. Stump Rider says, Max, glad to have you here, Stump Rider. Wake me up when that story is over. Oh, well, sorry about that, man. I'll try my best not to share that kind of stuff anymore. Like, I'll just try to keep that to myself. So, sorry about that. Max, learn how to make the block. Make the block like blockchain. Interesting fact, I'm actually considering going back to school, but not for my doctorate in business. I'm looking to go back to school to try to maybe learn blockchain. I kind of find it that interesting. I might just do the community college route, believe it or not. I might not just go start off like a state, state university or anything like that. Because the way I look at it is I'm not really trying to rush into that field, but from an educational point of view, I would like to learn more about it and so on. And I can get some of those classes from the local community college. No, not that type of guy, but thank you. Man, I've got a lot of them moments. I think a lot of people have had that at some point. Max, take the long way home, make the block, bro. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I'd watch your Netflix series, Max. I don't think so. I don't think Mr. Big Watch Dude would watch that. He'd probably fall asleep. So that's okay. All right. I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then we'll kick it back into our outline. You're faster than Crypto Hulk. You couldn't catch. Yeah, you can't catch a fast cat, man. There's no way. Justin Burdick, welcome back. Jasmine, he's got the popcorn or the mac and cheese. I can never figure out what it is. Let me try to zoom in one more time. Is it popcorn or is it just like, is it mac and cheese? Is it gold? Is it McDonald's? I don't know. All right. Let's see where we're at on my highlighted comments. Michael Montclair, rap name is Memphis Mike. He is now part of 8-Ball and MJG. Cool. All right. Let me highlight that and we'll kick it into the next part of what we have. All right. So what I want to show you guys is a tad bit more. This will end the part about quant. So on this one, let me just pull up a couple banners. All right. So let's share this. So a little bit more about this guy. All right. His name is Tom Mutton. And I'm going to copy the image on this one. Share this. There we go. So he is the director, like I mentioned, of Central Bank Digital Currency Bank of England, right, for the CBD side of things. He's the director. Tom is the director responsible for CBDCs at the Bank of England. He took this position when it was established in January 2021. His previous roles at the bank include director of FinTech, head of international policy and strategy, head of division in prudential policy, and time as a senior manager responsible for the supervision of major international firms. He was educated at the London School of Economics. So that's going to wrap up that segment in regards to quant. Thank you again to Quant Papa for some of the detailed info. On this next one, we're going to jump into is actually going to be BSV. So let's go ahead and share this. And on this one, it says realizing the potential of the Internet of Value. So again, what I want to point out to you guys is, just that. Like we talk about Jasmine, the Internet of Things, IoT, How about IoT when it comes to quant, Internet of Trust? And what about BSV, the Internet of Value? So smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of this. What is really, this whole thing of realizing the Internet of Value? This is really recent, and it was really interesting. I reviewed a lot of this. Not the whole thing, like the full 32 minutes, but I did get into about 15 minutes of it. It's good stuff. Here we go.
What you think needs to happen for blockchain technology to come of age and start delivering on all these promises and all these possibilities? Maybe starting with Eileen.
So I think the most important thing for this is to stop focusing obsessively on the price. This is not about the price. We don't focus obsessively about your TCP IP address, your IP address on the internet. So why are we talking about price? I came to blockchain when I worked for an international technology news journal, and I wasn't interested in the price, but I was really blown away by the technology and the scalability. And that's what I started writing about long before it ever dawned on me what the price was going to be.
It's true. If there's something that can cover anything up or divert the attention from anything, it's money, isn't it? It's price. So it's kind of been contaminated, the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. It's not about the price. Yeah. Just like transacting on the internet isn't about the IP address. Sure. It should be just about the functionality. And that's what initially drew me to blockchain. I wasn't even aware that there were different versions of blockchain, but I was really interested in the multi-clustering ability. So that sort of gives you a bit of an insight into my personality.
Thanks, Eileen. How about you, Latif? What do you think?
You have to have a vision and, what kind of leadership this beautiful island would like to see itself in the next 5 to 10 years. So you want to solve many problems, which is how to grow the economy, how to be independent from, single track economy. We had the same issue in Luxembourg, and there was a lot of effort, to detach itself from steel. And they succeeded in doing that. So it became the richest region in the world. And it's not possible to do it here as well. So you have to look at what kind of technologies are going to facilitate this. So obviously, tourism is still here and will be also very important. How can you, manage it properly, to make the most out of it? I think the proposals from our friend earlier on are quite good. So, for instance, how to decongest the traffic when you have 16 million people over here. So if you can create, there are some examples, but if you can give, let's say, people using the wallet, in this case, funded by their purchases across the town or the island, to give them access, free of charge access to the buses. Okay, that will be an important move, to liquidate a bit the traffic and so on and so forth. So there are small examples of these that needs to be done. So basically, you want this island to be top notch in something, to resonate on a worldwide basis, to attract new investors in new economies and so on and so forth. So you have to invest in certain, latest technologies in order to do that. You cannot build new country with old stuff. It's over. You have to modernize this place. And then people start coming. So new talents, new brains, people like him and like her as well.
So in a sense,
we have already your example anyway. So.
In a sense, I guess, when blockchain is able to deliver on these kind of promises and on these specific services to a community, to an economy,
right,
then it will come of age, right?
Right.
Yeah. Craig,
I'll say it differently. I can answer in one word, first of all, which is time. But I'll expand on that as well. So back in 1991, I had one of my first businesses, which was a only way to put it is shitty little ISP in Brisbane, Australia, which later got sold to Pegasus, which got sold to Aussie Mail, where I ended up working. But because of that and a few other things, I ended up as a person working for a company called WPA. WPA was sort of office supplies. And we ran all our systems on Sun, Solaris, and I connected, first of all, the offices around Australia over this internet thingy to synchronize them. And then we opened up what became NetExpress, which was like a very simple web platform. And customers could load this simple little browser, which was not what you have web now, but it was text, really horrible text mud type thing. And they could go in there and they could order product. And everyone thought, wow, this is super cool. I could order my paper by dialing into the phone and sending an order, which was EDI, effectively smart contracts. And because of that, and a few other things, the company, which I had no shares in and got no real benefits out of, got sold to Corporate Express and is now called Staples. And unfortunately, my boss has got hundreds of millions of dollars and I've got a resume. But this is the whole thing. So when I started in 1991 with a small ISP at home, my mother and everyone who doesn't remember any of this told me I was wasting my time and my life, and everyone else did. And what the hell's this internet thing? It's never going to be valuable. It's not like these other things. Why don't you go and do a Novell network course, because that's a corporate network. People will love it and blah, blah, blah. Novell's gone, by the way. It's dead. And every year things got a little bit better. And more people started using this internet thingy and realized that it had other uses, not just porn. Gradually, now, well, I don't think any of us can live a day without this internet thing. We generally get up, and if we don't have the internet, who will bother us overnight and send us messages and make us do extra work? So time.
Looking back specifically to the 80s, which Latif has talked about today, and the process that TCP/IP went through, what clear lessons are there from that we should be listening to today? What should we be doing with today's blockchain to make sure it can follow the path in standardization of TCP/IP? How do you see that?
Well, if you've ever tried to configure a router 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you will be absolutely grateful for IPv6 when you never will need to do that again. The complexity of early technology was horrendous, and you needed a degree in just manipulating the user manuals to get through. So I think that for blockchain to actually work in any industry, it needs to be frictionless. I actually hate that word. We've got a case study in the UK. So buying a house. There are some documents when you buy a house that are the same no matter how many houses you buy. It's a record of the legal deeds that house belongs to that piece of land. So why do we have to pay solicitors hundreds and hundreds of pounds every time we want to move house? So there's a property estate agent on the blockchain where these records will be stored forever. So once that house has been recorded on the blockchain, the next person that buys it will have a practically frictionless experience. And doesn't everybody across every single industry just want easy management of whatever they need to be doing on the web? Not two-factor authentication, not going to this to get something revalidated. We just want to buy something simply. And I think that's what blockchain's for.
Yeah, I guess, it's all about knowledge.
They have some good explanations and great insight. that was one of the main reasons why I'm sharing that with you guys. And let's face it, we don't share a lot of the whole thing with BSV, but we are lately. So glad to share that with you guys. Gonna jump into a little bit more of what we have here tonight. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So on this next part of what we have for the lineup, I'm going to show you guys another thing from BSV. And this time it's a short video. And I want to share this with you guys. This is good stuff. So this comes straight from a retweet from the Bitcoin Association for BSV. This comes from this guy. His name is Vince Park. And on this, he states, have you been told that BTC is Bitcoin? Well, everybody's been told that, right? Ever wonder why Bitcoin, one of the greatest technology invented, needs a second layer? Remember at the beginning of the show, you heard Vitalik Buterin was talking a lot about layer 2s. If you're here, you remember that. Well, it says Bitcoin, now restored under BSV, scales perfectly on-chain. We want Bitcoin, not blockstream's profit-seeking sidechains. Here's a short video that's going to talk just about that. Here we go.
Blockstream makes money on what Bitcoin cannot do. This new corporation has nearly complete control over Bitcoin Core. The key difference between sidechains and the Bitcoin blockchain is that transaction fees don't go to the miners. They go to the developers of the sidechains. Blockstream plans to sell sidechains to enterprises, charging a fixed monthly fee, taking the transaction fees, and even selling the hardware. If Bitcoin scales perfectly on-chain, there will not be a need for sidechains or second layers. This should set off some major red flags.
All right, so, we bring you the educational side of things as well. It gives you a quick little summary in about 32 seconds. Cool stuff. Okay, so on this next one, we're going to jump into, it is in regards to Ripple's XRP, and it made recent news from USA Today. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And if you were looking for some Ripple news, here basically is. So this comes straight from, like I mentioned, USA Today. And there was a recent discussion in regards to all of this. But the headline basically states, Ripple and XRP, top lawyer answers tricky question. This was reported earlier today at 11:37 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or actually Pacific Standard Time. Today. All right, so as you can see right here, there's a few things that were reported in a recent discussion surrounding Ripple's ongoing lawsuit with the SEC. Lawyer and digital asset enthusiast Bill Morgan sheds some light on the potential fate of Ripple's XRP holdings. Listen to this, right? This is something that's been brought up in the past. So this is not necessarily a segment about so much of it like the case and so on. Like, is the SEC going to win or is Ripple win? No, this is from a different perspective. So it says, with the lawsuit drawing attention to Ripple's actions in the library case serving as a catalyst, the XRP community has been eagerly debating the future of Ripple's vast amount of XRP tokens. This is something that gets brought up every so often. So if you've been following this, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Says which currently sit in escrow accounts. There has been, or I should say, there was even a talk about burning that entire amount, which was further made clear by a former director at Ripple, Matt Hamilton. However, the question arose, could the court impose a solution where Ripple would be allowed to retain the escrow, using the tokens only to meet demand and providing proof of such transactions? Morgan responded to the query, stating that Ripple had actually presented a solution in 2020. Were you aware of that? The company's approach involves selling XRP exclusively to on-demand liquidity customers, ODL, focusing on fulfilling the demand within that specific use case. The lawyer noted that the demand for XRP in ODL transactions appeared to be steadily increasing, implying that this strategy was gaining momentum. Addressing another concern raised with the XRP community, Morgan confirmed that the SEC did mention the escrow in a summary judgment motion. The SEC alleged that Ripple used the escrow account as a means of reinforcing the notion of a common enterprise associated with XRP and to bolster the token's price. And of course, this is the whole thing about the ongoing discussion about, XRP and how the cases caught attention and so on. But I thought I'd give you guys that quick little gist about it. Let me know what you think in the comments in regards to this tricky question. So do you think there's something there when it comes to this whole talk about escrow and, will there be a mass burn of the tokens? Does the SEC have Ripple by the balls when it comes to this? Let me know what you think. All right. On this one, we're going to jump back into the comments and let's go ahead and get into some of this stuff. So, oh yeah, you like the BSV segment? Of course you did, right? All right. Henry says he is 37. Interesting. I just turned 42 on Friday, as some of you guys know. There's more to Lil Wayne than rap. His sports legacy is top tier. I have nothing against him as a person. I mean, I like some of the stuff that he shared about, when he was a kid, the policeman who saved his life and stuff like that. It's pretty cool stuff. Henry Brown states he's West Coast. He's all, you were all West Coast. Mac 10 Faux Live. Yeah, I used to have that album. Believe it or not, I used to love that song, Faux Live. Faux Live, Mac 10 coming through the hood with stripes. I remember that song. Nas is good. Pac was good. Can't be the old school stuff. How about that? Tupac, the song actually called Old School. Love that song. Ain't nothing like the old school. That's a great song. All right. Two Live Crew. We saw them live at the Moon in Tallahassee in 1991. Wow, man. You've seen some stuff. I'm sure you remember Luke back then, too. Mac 10 is solid. Yeah. It's too bad West Side Connection broke up. I guess Mac 10 still has some issues with Ice Cube. But, always loved listening to, Dub C, like Dub C and the Mad Circle back in the day, too. All right. What up, Max, Larry, and CTN fam? Thank you for dropping by. Mr. Sean, the Crypto Smith, doing it big. Michael Montclair, I know you had fun. Okay. Yep, I got this. I did see that while I was going through some of this stuff, so I was glad to get to that second one. And can we look up the actual maximum length of a case? I know, in fact, we all know the SEC versus Ripple case is a show, but how long legally can a lawsuit last before a decision is required to be rendered? You know what? I'm sure we can look that up. I mean, I don't know how long that's going to take to look up. But somebody that might enjoy doing that is Mr. Michael Cornwell. All right, if he wants to. I worked that concert as a bouncer. 185 wet. Wow. How about that, man? That's Two Live Crew back in the day as a bouncer. 185 pounds wet. Interesting. All right, 405 Anthony says quant equals IBM, MIT. Yep, we report on some of that stuff all the way back to late last year, like roughly October, November. Cool stuff. You ate too much tonight? LOL. I had a big breakfast, so I didn't really want to eat dinner because it was a big breakfast. It was a steak and egg cheese burrito with some fried taters. It was pretty good, actually. All right. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids again. Huh. Welcome to Selmo Fudd. Glad to have you here. Blackwood's in the house. You as well, Blackwood. All right. Menelect, obviously, welcome. Menelect, you've been very active on crypto Twitter. Thank you for all the awesome insight. XRP, Jasmine especially. Pretty cool stuff, man. All right, we're going to read a couple more comments. We'll kick it back into what we have for the lineup tonight. AZ Kirk says, Max low-key got jumped in that night, and that is when I got now I got this hat. I don't know, when did I get this hat? Maybe last November. Wasn't until recently I started wearing hats like a lot. So, back in the old days, I don't know, could never find the right hat. Right. My main thing was like, maybe I'll wear a fedora or something once in a while, but you got to wear that with a suit. But I'll stop talking about this stuff. So, I don't want to ramble, I don't want to put people to sleep or anything. So I'm not gonna share any more of that stuff anymore. That's for sure. All right. So Michael Montclair says that you absolutely loves the show. Well, thank you. Hopefully, it didn't put you to sleep either. Cool Cat Crypto, TradeX, GBEX, and XSP for Bitcoin. Why would you do that? Because do you see like Bitcoin's going to blast off? Is that what you feel? Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be BTC. It would be, like you said, the real Bitcoin, right? BSV. There you go. Now I get it. Coochie Boy says that was a nice candle for the 1 hour TFGS. Interesting. All right, we're going to kick it back into the lineup because I don't know if I want to go more than 2 hours tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Share a little bit of Ripple with you, which is good stuff. So I believe we have a little bit more on just that. Yeah, we do. So let me see if we can pull that up. All right, this is good. I think I shared this earlier. Yeah, I did. I retweeted this. Let's go ahead and share this. Let me get it all going here in a bit. All right. Yeah, this is good stuff. Still on the subject of Ripple's XRP. All right. So shout to this guy. He is referred to as constructiontrader.eth, who is at C_traders. Swift is like Nokia and XRP is like the iPhone. There's no comparison. All right. Check this out. It's 2 minutes. All right. He has a pretty good perspective of what he's sharing here. I know you see Swift on the page, but just listen to this. This is good stuff. I retweeted it. I'm telling you flat out, you're probably going to like this one. So if you want, you can definitely reshare it, but you have to follow me at DPG Maximus. So here we go.
Does 44.8 million transactions per day. Divide that by 86,400 seconds in a 24-hour period. That's 518 transactions per second. Way faster than Bitcoin, but still too slow. And with Swift's new Swift Go ISO 20022 compliance, it's still taking Swift 1 to 2 days to clear a single transaction. It costs about $40 billion a year to use Swift system to transfer money globally. XRP does 1,500 transactions per second. Times that by 86,400 seconds in a 24-hour period is 129,600,000 transactions per day. Way faster than Bitcoin and Swift put together. XRP is also scalable to 50,000 TPS. Times that by 86,400 in a 24-hour period. That's 4,320,000,000 transactions per day. And all these transactions can be done in 4 seconds, no matter the amount of money being sent. XRP moved $50 million in under 5 seconds and only cost 30 cents. This is why XRP has been in a lawsuit for the last 2 years, because XRP is going to replace Swift. It's not about if XRP is a security or a currency. They all know it's a currency. This lawsuit is about giving Swift enough time to try and replicate XRP's technology, and they are failing miserably. XRP will be the first multi-million-dollar token. And there you have it.
And some people think I was nuts for some of the things I said about quant and so on, or, XLN going to 10 grand or XRP well over 10K and so on, right? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. All right. We're going to jump into a little bit more of what we have. So that was cool. And I retweeted that. Let's jump into some XLM. I did share this whole entire video with you guys last week. Somebody chopped this up and got to like a little quick segment. So we're going to share that for a brief bit. And this is Denell Dixon, right? So it says from this guy, his name is Sammy. Stellar soon to become the first and only public blockchain to have a CBDC on its public ledger. Were you aware of that? Well, look at this. And this was taken from last week, and it was regards to this lady who is obviously from Franklin Templeton. And of course, we played the whole video last week, but here's a nice little highlight under 1 minute. Here we go.
Work on that chain. So we've actually had a lot of folks, I think I can think of at least 3 different, like that Ukraine did it at one point, and there's other companies that have taken Stellar and created a private instance of it, and they've used it. And Ukraine actually looked at, the government there looked at it at first, and they were like, but the value of the blockchain is that it's not that, like, you can use it for that. Right. So they then have now gone to the public network and thought about moving on to the public network for that reason. So I do think that there's just, obviously, I think that there's value for all of this technology, but I think the public notion of this, and one of the questions I get, right, from any company that we talk to, they say, well, who's in charge of that?
Exactly.
Because that's your instinct,
Yeah,
right? When you have, like,
course.
especially if I ran an IT department too when I was at Mozilla, work on that.
All right, so that was real quick, but glad to share it. We do have a little bit more of Stellar for you, and so we're going to jump into that. And here it is. Give me just a second. All right. This is from Alp, formerly known as alp.lsp. He's now referred to as alp.web. All right, so we're going to jump into this. So he states on this short thread, not super long, in regards to Stellar. Have you ever wondered you could create, send, and trade digital representations of all forms of money on a single network? If you should check out Stellar, an open network for money, or it's just, if so, you should check them out, right? Open network for money, Stellar. Stellar is a blockchain platform that connects banks, payment, and systems, and people around the world. It allows anyone to issue and exchange any asset, from dollars to Bitcoin to real estate, with low fees and fast transactions. A little bit more in regards to this. Stellar, if you didn't know, also has a built-in decentralized exchange that allows users to trade any asset on the network without intermediaries. You can swap dollars for euros, for instance, or Bitcoins for gold, or anything else you can imagine with just a few clicks. Stellar is supported by the Stellar Development Foundation, a nonprofit organization that helps maintain and improve the network. SDF also provides grants, as in, Stellar Development Foundation, just in case you didn't know that. But yeah, they provide grants, education, and technical support to developers and businesses who want to build on Stellar. Stellar is more than just technology. It is a vision for a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable global financial system. By enabling anyone to access and participate in the world of money, Stellar empowers people to create value and improve their lives. So there it is. What is Stellar Network? Kind of a different perspective. A lot of us know about this, but I like how he basically worded it. This guy, I'm telling you flat out, you should follow him. Alp.web3, who could be followed at ALP_ORTANCIL. I don't know of a single other person on crypto Twitter that provides constant research, I should say, when it comes to Stellar, which a lot of people want to see that, and it's hard to get that. But this guy does it every single day. And as a result, I have a lot of respect for this guy. He's really blown up. I remember when he only had like 1,500 followers and so on. He's almost out of 10,000. So shout out to him. And I think that might be it in regards to Stellar. Yes, it is. So the next segment is going to be XDC. We'll kick it back to a few comments, and we'll go back to what we have on the news lineup. All right, let's jump further down. I want to welcome Mr. Cody Core. Glad to have you here, Cody. And Trollcoin is up 248%. Well, don't get trolled into those pumps, but you never know. At the end of the day, you guys are going to do whatever you want to do anyway. So, I'm not going to, you get where I'm coming from. Passionate Rick, only 81% of the XRPL validators can make a burn of escrow. happen according to David Schwartz, aka Joel Katz. All right, thanks for the info. Welcome back, Passionate Rick. Big fan of Rick and Morty. Biggie was dope, I agree. Biggie Smalls was the illest. All right. You're like, what? All right. GT says, I pledge allegiance to the reg of the United West Side Connection and to the W for which it stands, one neighborhood under God, invincible with luxuries and riches for all. Good old days. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm sure you guys have heard this, but if you want to hear a great verse from Dub C, the Militia 2 remix from Gangstar, right? So, obviously DJ Premier on the beat, Guru on the first verse. Second verse is WC's. That verse from Dub C that's probably like one of the best I've ever heard from him personally. And of course, the last verse is from Rakim. But anyway, try not to ramble on too much. Any thoughts on Filecoin? I see they were one of the ones that testified in front of Congress 2 weeks ago. I didn't know that they were that they testified in front of Congress 2 weeks ago, but I love Filecoin. Both for short-term swing trades, or power swaps as I refer to it, or long-term. I feel as though at the time, right, roughly 2 months ago, not 2 minutes ago, I did buy bottom, and I was able to do a power swap on that to acquire more assets and so on. Basically, it was 3K in 3 days. I did choose to get back into it. I am not complaining about Filecoin at all. Highest average reward with the lowest risk, right? That's why I call it the Coca-Cola crypto, basically. Great for swing trading. Well, I should say swing trading, like daily swing trading, depending on how you time it and so on. But you do have to have a decent amount of capital to make that happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like, not everybody's going to be able to do this. This is not me bragging or anything like that. Just the way I looked at it was, I was following Filecoin for well over a year on what kind of prices they have based off of market cap and the price per coin. I came to the conclusion, look, this is the lowest it's been in over 3 months. So I was like, you know what? This is opportunity right here. Seize the opportunity. And then from there, I had to put a lot into it. So I had to put 7K to turn a profit of 3K. And at the end of the day, I'm going to do that all day long. All right. I understand there's like some people saying you should have went with some of the other smaller caps. Guess what? I've done that. But for me, for something I've been following really closely for over a year, that was something I was like, you know what? I want to make that happen. I did. And even if it goes back to all-time highs, which I think it's going to go back to all-time highs and then some, even if it goes to last all-time highs for what I have, that would be like 250, like $250,000. I get it. Some people are saying, there's other better opportunities and so on. Yeah, there is. But I mean, if I'm going to have if I'm going to have a diverse portfolio, which I already do, I'm not complaining about my Filecoin. So, yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Filecoin. All right. Not financial advice, though. You got to do what you got to do. All right, I'm going to read like maybe 2 more comments. Crypto Puppet. The bottom line is nobody knows what is going to happen in crypto. Nobody knows. Be in crypto about 3 years. 90% of predictions are wrong, so God help us. I hear what you're saying. A lot of the predictions are wrong, but I do follow these boom cycles, and those boom cycles have been very, very consistent. That's my thing. If I'm going to follow somebody based off of just opinion, yes, 90% of those people are definitely wrong. So it is what it is. Nice picture of yourself, man. You're all spiffy. You got a suit and tie on there? Hey, man, you look like a Don right there. Crypto Puppet, right on. All right. Thanks. Yeah, you're very welcome. No problem. Crypto Puppet, I pray over my crypto for guidance. Might as well. Blue chips, long run. Okay. No shame in my God game. Puppet states, Jasmine has to go against TZ. He's going to try to take Jasmine idea with Greenfield projects. Yeah, I did a brief small dive into it and so on. There's only a few things that are completely similar in regards to Jasmine and all that, but we did do a side-by-side comparison. It's not exactly the same, but I do see on the surface where a lot of people feel as though it is. All right, and that was in a video. If you happen to see that video, I did do a little side-by-side. All right, I'm going to kick it back to what we have on the outline. This next segment is XDC. Let's just jump into this for just a brief moment. It's not a lot, but it is something. All right, so check this out. All right, here it is. So it states from CryptoNair D, XDC projected tokenized market volume until 2027. By asset class, tokenized markets could, listen to this, guys, potentially be worth as much as 24 trillion by 2027. So I'm going to blow this up for you guys. Here it is. And here's what they're talking about. So this was originally from the source of HSBC. It says the 10x potential of tokenization, rapid growth of tokenized assets. The financial services industry is waking up to the transformative potential of DLT. It is estimated that that 1.7 billion per annum is currently spent on distributed ledger technology. In financial services globally, the World Economic Forum estimates that up to 10% of global GDP will be stored and transacted via DLT by 2027. Tokenized markets could potentially be worth as much as 24 trillion by 2027. For DLT's potential to be fully realized, financial market participants and infrastructure providers need to collaborate to galvanize change. And then you have some of the breakdowns, projected tokenized market volume until 2027. You see some of the ones that, listed here, like, the blue is listed equity. Pay attention to where it says some of the unlisted, but the big ones obviously is listed equity. Red is obviously, other financial assets. Gray is bonds. Black is home equity. And then the darker gray, right, is investment funds. But the listed equity definitely stands out. And you can see some of this projection. Pretty big stuff, So for all the people who want to say crypto is going to zero, right? What are you referring to? Because you're definitely not referring to tokenized assets, right? Well, tokenized assets are tied into crypto. Okay. Which cryptos, right? Are we talking about meme coins? Because I wouldn't consider those real true tokenized assets. I would consider that just a bunch of bull crap where you can earn some money, but they're not true tokenized assets. Well, yes, they are, Max, because I just made a ton of money off it. Well, we could agree to disagree, but I'm talking about ones with solid utility. And I think also, I'm not a fan of the WEF, but I think that's what they're referring to as well. All right, so there's just a little breakdown. On this next one that we're going to get into, it's going to be Alliance Block. It's been a while since we talked about Alliance Block, so let's jump into this. Smash that like if you haven't done so already, and let's talk about Alliance Block. So this was reported earlier. There's an update in regards to Nexera. All right. Welcome to the latest edition of Alliance Block's weekly recap. Join as they dive into what's going on. So that's what we're doing. They started last week by sharing that Alliance Block's private beta role has basically come out and has begun. You can register if you choose to do so, but it says important if you're a builder or represent a company in Web 2 or Web 3 space, secure priority access to their cutting edge technology and gain exclusive access to their comprehensive documentation. Now, most of us aren't that type of person, but they're having some things going on. Also, 11 hours ago, it was reported that their new website went live. You can find out a little bit more in regards to like the Nexera ID. I've done a deep dive in regards to that a few months ago. It gives you the right tools to make adoption frictionless, compliant, and self-custodial over at Nexera ID. Back on May 4th, it says exciting news. Team is beyond excited to unveil their brand new website. They created a visually stunning and user-friendly website with all the tools you need to create and secure compliant access to Web3. They're showing you in that GIF right there. Right, not too bad. Wish I could blow that up more, but it won't let me. On top of that, it says after 1 week of voting, Alliance Block's first data tunnel DAO Proposal AB Nexera 1 was approved with 100% of the votes in favor. So basically, it's unanimous. In regards to this was submitted for discussion not too long ago, roughly about a week ago. Back on the 9th, they met the quorum for voting validity. AB Nexera 1 proposal, like I mentioned, was unanimous. All right, so how about this? Rashid Ajaja, he participated in the Plug and Play TC's Future of FinTech private event. He discussed compliance, the Swiss ecosystem, and more with senior executives from Swiss banks and other financial institutions. I'm sure they probably asked him a lot about, like, where do you guys feel as though, where we're going with regulatory framework and so on, right? But it said back on the 9th, Rashida Jaja joined Plug and Play. Senior executives, of course, from the Swiss Bank and other institutions were there to listen in. They talked about a lot of stuff. I want to tell you guys just a little bit about this. This happened the day before my birthday, which was on Thursday, May 11th. Did you know there's a pre-listing on Alliance Block Funders? They're going to raise capital for Crest, their Canary network, and the world's first and only economy of things. So we're always talking about IoT. I guess that would be referred to as EOT. Simulation Hub, they're flexing on that one. Contributors are eligible for the upcoming PAAQ reward program. So there's a whole thing in regards to that. It's the world's first and only economy of things simulation network. So I may choose to take a little bit more of a deeper dive into that. That does sound interesting. They are obviously working with Arbitrum. Some of you guys got into Arbitrum before it launched and so on. They want us to take, of course, more of a deeper dive into Leo X. Leo X has been kind of down lately. But there's a lot going on at the end of the day, right? At least they're doing some like AMAs with institutional players. They're giving you guys updates in regards to Leo X. Which, in this face, I mean, Leo X is more towards LCX, but you got to keep in mind, these are all partnered, right? So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. A little bit more in regards to the funder's latest innovation. Again, highlighting Leo X and so on. But I thought it was pretty cool to be able to share this with you guys. Just a brief update. We don't really get to talk about Alliance Block all the time. All right. I'm going to kick it into the comments just for a brief bit. Going a little bit over the 2 hours, but I think I have just a little bit left to go into, so it's not going to be too long. All right. You still can't find anything you don't like about Cosmos. That's good. I do like Cosmos. All right. Crypto or Grade the God says, maybe I missed it. Did you have an opinion on Nyan meme coin? I don't have a opinion on that, to be honest. I don't really like, even with PayPay, I didn't get a PayPay. So I mean, I'm probably not the guy to ask when it comes to that stuff. Sorry. Crypto Puppet says Max Jasmine developers will have to be on top of their game against CZ. Ah, shucks. I guess that's going to be it. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't even know if you're able to hear me right there. Sorry about that. I'm going to get going. I'll read just a couple more comments because obviously I'm having some problems with this. Hold on a second. Oh, there it goes back. All right, maybe not. I guess I'll be all right. I guess I'll stay for a little bit. Sorry about that. So yeah, they're all gonna have to bring their A game. All right, KJ24 just got into this hedge, signed up with Uphold and XRP and plan ADA, Ether, XLM. I'm supposed to buy a separate wallet. Appreciate the input. Hold on a second. You can if you choose to. I mean, have you considered getting a ledger? I mean, I know it's like a popular thing nowadays. I would definitely consider it. But you know, if you're insistent on, you know, certain wallets and so on, what was it? I think Cool Cat was mentioned Exodus. I mean, I can't vouch for that, but it just all depends on your situation and with where you're at. But if anything, you know, might consider a ledger. All right. Take it easy, Mr. Montclair. And yeah, I knew you were going to mention something about the Exodus. I would not know. I would not. I've seen a little bit of talk about you guys saying stuff like that. I'm not really chasing that stuff anymore, man. You know, when it comes, I mean, is that a meme coin? To be honest, I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe that upsets people that I'm not informed about stuff like that. I just don't really, I don't know. I don't really put a lot of focus on all that stuff anymore. All right. Yeah, it seems like it. All right. It's basically like it's what they refer to as like a cold storage. You know, it's an actual piece of hardware where you can, you know, have custody of your crypto instead of putting on exchanges. There's a saying that they have, basically, not your keys, not your crypto. You know, a lot of people feel as though like they don't want to have their crypto on exchanges. They want to be the one that has just that, you know, custody of it and so on. So with a ledger, you are the one who controls that. You know, you're the one that has it just like that in your own custody. And it takes the intermediary of a, you know, centralized exchange out of the equation. Some people, I would say most people are for it. You know, some people have mentioned that, you know, they don't like the inconvenience of it and so on, but it depends on your situation. So I would definitely look more into that and find more about Ledger. There's other ones obviously out there and so on. All right. Let me see what I got left for you guys. I don't think it's a lot. I might just wrap it up actually, but let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's, I mean, I have a few more things like Hedera. I'll just do the Hedera H-bar segment real quick. And then this other stuff in regards to algo and all that, we'll do it some other time. And I'll probably say this for tomorrow in regards to H-bar. It's not massive news, but, you know, I could probably just say it towards tomorrow because we're about 2 hours and 7 minutes into it. All right. Muff states he's been having issues with the town over on cable internet and having issues on my 1 gig internet fiber 30 miles away. All right, guys, it's been a good show. I apologize. I will not ramble on and give stories ever again, put people to sleep. Won't ever happen again. I promise you that. I'll stick strictly to the news and stick to the script, and that is it. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.